Hey, good morning, Aski. How's it going? How's it going? So yesterday on the lunch, I started coloring the Moth Queen. I had this idea about um, that it's a kind of like a carapace that forms a skull, where the things are attached on the bridge, like of the cheekbone and the eyebrow. But yeah, still lots to do. You just blocked it in, like to try to capture the palette that I had in mind and the tone, and that's more or less what I'm going to try to do today with the octopus ladies, to try to capture the tone and general idea of it. So we'll see how that goes, but it should go pretty straightforward. I'm going to leave, I think, a lot of details undefined on the octopus woman. That's good. Cheers. The octopus, the moth queen, still has lots of mileage left on it before I'm happy with it. But yeah, the octopus. The thing what I want to do with the octopus is, which I really don't have a clear picture in my head of, is the coloring and the patterning of an octopus. One thing that I love about octopus is the way the meat looks fragile, like it's almost already dead, and it's very mushy, right? That's how I pictured the flesh of octopuses. The outside is always with a pattern, and then the inside, underside is like mushy, soft. That's at least what I see in my mind. But the patterning is gonna be tricky. I'm probably gonna make her a little bit of like a with tiger patterning, maybe, so she looks dangerous or poisonous. Hey, Kilrathi. And then try to get that kind of translucency, soft squid meat feel to it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I think the first thing I'll do is try to block in general the general light. I had this idea about composition. We'll see if I can make it work. The idea is like the back here is in shadow, but she's being lit. Oh yeah. Hey, Dr. Sheldon. Number 7. Atsuki. Oh, really? I have no idea what that looks like. I have no clear. I kind of have a somewhat of a picture in my head what squid texture is, but it's not a solid picture. I must say that I haven't looked in terms of studying um, what squids look like. I think that could be a good study Monday about what a squid might actually look like, because I have no clear idea. The specifics, you know. Hey, Cosmoverse, how's it going? Dr. Sheldon with number 7. I wish there was a number for each. By the way, if anyone has an idea of the additional emotes we can do, I'm all ears. If you have a great idea of an emote you'd like to see, I'll do my best. Or if you want to make an emoji that we can use, feel free to do it. I think that will be cool. Even more so the community sourced emoji. You know, everything doesn't need to come from me in that sense, you know. So if you can come up with a cool emoji, it's a good idea. I'm all ears. Hey, Klorothi. Cheers, man. Cheers. Yeah, so like I said, the composition in my mind would be that the back of her is in shadow, while the front of her is being lit. You know, so we get that pop of focus. Could even be like with a cast shadow on her. Like this is the general idea of it, but I think it's way too much white. But I'll try to sort that out by knocking back all the values. So now we have a little bit of bite. So we're not at the top. Okay, colors. I don't want to look at reference. So what I'll do is a blue squid does sound fascinating, and I think blue with pink is a beautiful combination. So let's start with that. Let's see where that leads us. I know I need to add some patterning on her, but with the risk of spending too much time on patterning and not about the big picture, I'm yet to want to go full blast on that. Hey, Cosmoverse. Cheers. Yeah, like I said, it's far from finished. I spent my lunch break yesterday adjusting proportions and details and so on. So far it's what 1.5 to 2 hours, and I think the same amount more to be finished with it. Maybe 2 more hours on it, and then that will be. I think that will be. It looks like it would be enough to wrap it. Possibly a little bit more, but not significantly more, I would say. It's just about adding all those tiny details. Looking at it, probably a lot of time with the moths themselves, these kind of elongated dragon moths. going to be a lot of work to get the volumetrics right, so it doesn't just look like broken wings, but a hive hanging on her. So I think that's going to take a longer time actually. So plus an additional hour to sit and do all the correct major shadows on the Moth Queen. But other than that, I think it's on track. I think this squid character is I really enjoy it. I think it has lots of potential. But so yeah, so if you have any suggestions on emojis, I think we have 2 or 3 more slots, and the more people subscribe, the more is unlocked. But I think we have 2 additional ones we can do. I was thinking, what we could put in. I mean, like the banana bot. It's funny, but not everyone gets it. You know, you got to see the banana bot to understand what's so funny. A coffee cup? I don't know, it's really tricky. I mean, there's so many different potentials of routes to take with another emoji. Gears coffee. Not the first one to come up with that idea, clearly. So any other ideas then, as my imagination is shit? That's true, Dr. Sheldon. That is true. That is very true. That's actually a good idea. So, with raiding, what could we use then as a Viking raid, a warm-up raid? A Bjorn raid? My face? Nah. Squid? A Bjornament? Ooh, customers. That's a good idea. A Bjornament emoji, that would be cool. That could be really cool. Well, the risk of it looking very bad. A UB2. But then would the people like, what's that? Yeah. But yeah, Unreal Bjornament or a raid. What could you do with raid? You could do It's so tricky. I'm glad that at the beginning I only had one. You know, just do one that fits the channel. That's all I had to worry about. But I think it would be, it has, you know, so much fun to do emojis. There's so many potentials. Hey, Silverax. How's it going? Welcome. A squid emoji? Well, squid's not really, I mean, associated with the channel. And there is already a squid. I mean, obviously now I'm painting a squid, but that's about it. I think this is the first squid I've done on stream. So it's not really something that's associated with the channel, you know. Channel being a warm-up. Yeah, it's tricky, it's tricky. I'm fine, thank you, Silverax. Today is a little bit of an off day, I can feel it already. It's like a constant uphill battle. Today is one of those days, you know, where everything has extra weight. But funny thing, I was study Monday emoji. Yeah, that could be. I mean, yeah, I think that will be great. Atsuki, yeah, that is fantastic. There is already a squid by default, which is pretty funny, but that one is great. Like this one is pretty funny. Hey, Ricky. How's it going? Malevolent Raven, any tips to increase speed? Yeah, there's a couple of things you can do. And unfortunately, none of them is an easy answer or one-stop solution. Each suggestion I have has hard work involved. But generally, what you want to do, according to me, of course, is understand your process or make a process that's inclined for speed. So if you know that you need to sit hours at an end with line art, for example, that's obviously, you can't do that process that you're doing if you want to speed up. But I mean, let's say if you're a line art artist, practice, remove as many what's it called, support wheels on a bicycle. Is that what they're called? No, that's not what they're called. I don't remember what they're called. But remove as many as possible, so that you have to practice the action of drawing clean lines by default. Like get a sketchbook, training wheels. Thank you. Get a sketchbook that's throwaway, and buy a pen, and only do line art without underdrawing, and you practice mapping your line. So in that sense, you're practicing getting a result faster with more accuracy. So it's the same with, let's say, if you're a painter, understanding your process and practicing your process of, I do color blocking first, paint on top, or I paint with shadows, or I need to do this, I need to do that. And then the more you understand of how you do paintings, the faster you can get to the result. And also, the more you practice, the more you understand the principles, and and the more you can truncate the steps to smash them together, so that when you're making your moves and you're painting, you can the more you do it, the more you practice it, the more of the many steps you can put together. So instead of doing a line art, block in, shadow pass, color variation, maybe you do block in at the same time as value, and then later on maybe you do block in with color at the same time. So you start, you know, the more you know, the more you can smash together, and the faster you can get a result done. Some artists are slower, some artists are faster, but always what's good to practice is having a deadline, time frame. Like, okay, in 2 hours I have to have, you know, a solid sketch done. And you keep an eye on the clock and know, like, at 3 o'clock I have to have something that I can show. You know, whatever state it is, that's the state it's gonna have to be in. And you follow the clock, and like, if you're aware of time, you'll see the clock, and half an hour before 2 o'clock, where you know, okay, in 30 minutes I gotta have something. Ideally, what happens is that you're moving a lot faster, making the essential corrections of the biggest mistakes, so that your bare minimum, what you have at the end of the timer, is something that's acceptable with minimal flaws. There's still going to be flaws, but what you're practicing then is seeing the biggest mistake, correcting them, so that there's an overall correct read. And the more you do that, the faster you can get to that same spot with less effort. So you do that over and over and over, and two things: you're going to practice speed, so your natural speed is going to be faster, and also you're practicing in step reduction, in what I explained earlier, that you truncate the steps you need to get there, the more you practice it. And sometimes you also understand that you have to take some steps before you can start making, let's say, a painting. For example, I did the grayscale version of this before, because I know I want to separate the value design from color, because color is going to be a big part of this. So I deliberately separated the two, so I could focus on form and then color. And if I would have done the both at the same time, most likely I would have struggled, and it would take longer time to get to a result. Kuru. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's what I mean. If you like that, that's great. That's what you got to do to speed up, to get a more accurate result faster. And everyone is different, and everyone thinks differently. But what everyone also should realize, that there is fundamentals that you have to understand before you can get really fast or really accurate. Because accuracy is understanding, right? Implementation of knowledge, being accurate. Like a quick line can describe the joint structure of an elbow, or you can spend an hour trying to get the form right until you know. So it's all down to the more you know, the faster you can get. So that's why I said, know your process, practice your process, because that's a big part of knowledge. And process could also mean, oh, I need to, now it's going to be light, now it's going to be form, now it's going to be color. How do I do it? So first of all, you don't get flustered by your own process. Secondly, the things you add in that process, like understanding of color, understanding of light, you have to understand as well. The more you do it, the more you know. Hey, Kraskar, how's it going? Eric Ricky, yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Kuro. Well, you have the opportunity of VOD every day. Just watch away. Hey, Tormund, how's it going? And by the way, for everyone, you can, that's in Unreal Bjorn, you can do this, and you'll get a deadline counter. You got 2 days and 10 hours left of the competition for round 3. Round 3. Kuru, yeah, absolutely. That's a really important thing, and that's kind of I touched on that subject a little bit yesterday. Someone asked about experimenting with process, and I said process is your way of constructing a painting, right, or constructing a design or anything. So for client work, I don't vary my approach. Minimal variation, except if the style requires it. But I stick to the true and tested for clients. I know it's accurate, fast, and I get results as I want them to. And on my spare time, on warm-ups and so on, I test things out. I experiment with things to see, okay, what wild steps can I do to get maybe a completely different result. And through experimentation, maybe I will find a strange process or a strange step. Then I practice that process, practice those steps, and then implement them to the client work when they are true and tested, and I have figured out a way to implement them with least amount of interruption, right? And for those who remember, I discussed this a really long time ago when I started experimenting with lights only sketching process, right? When I start with a mid-range background and then start only painting light and defining the concept that way. I didn't start with that with clients, doing that for clients, but I do that now for clients that want a little bit more of mood in their concepts when they have board meetings and so on, rather than production art. Production art, I don't do it. But to sell a concept, like the mood of a concept, I go to that light-only approach, you know, where you start mid-range, add light, and then paint in volumes. It's really handy to get the atmosphere down. Hey, cool stream, how's it going? What up? For those who want to watch a streamer that's great at shooters, follow Kuo streams. It's a good guy. Hey, Crossgun. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. So for those who want to follow him, click his name. You get a business card popping up, and then you just click follow. Done and dusted. No need to go to his channel to click follow, just click his name. The business card will pop up. Click follow. And Kuro streams are venturing into art. He's been doing some art streams recently. I think he was a pro FPS player, or like top ranking one at least, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Kuo. But yeah, Kuo is a cool guy. Dutch, if I'm not mistaken. So far, so good. Bingo bango. Okay. I feel like the colors are somewhat right. I feel like they're missing some accent. I will add that at a later point. Now I feel I want to increase the mood or adjust the palette. I feel that it's lacking a little bit of harmony. That's pretty nice and vivid. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Cool. I told you about that. I use a martial arts technique to train my wrists. That I mean I've obviously been painting for 15 years, and crossguard. No, I colored it in half an hour. Let's see. I think we were almost. I'm deliberately taking it a little bit slower, but we were from here to here in half an hour. It's not like a wow, amazing, but I was also talking a lot and taking my time to get it right. This was done yesterday. But yeah, the martial arts technique, what I use is a stick and a string and a weight, and you roll the string, the weight up on the string, and you roll it down, up, down, and then from this you roll it up, and you roll it down with your arms straight out, so you lift it up. And what you're doing is that you're more or less constantly doing this and using your fingers all the time to roll it up and roll it down. And if you do that, the whole lower arms and hands are going to burn, but that's the sweet burn, you know. And what you do is that you're activating more or less the whole system when you're doing that. And second one is stretch your fingers out, like you want to dislocate the fingers almost, like extend them out and then push them in, extend them out, push them in, extend them out, push them in. And you do that until the hands are burning. And do that a few times and you'll get good wrists. Yeah, but like I said, I hardly ever have issues with my, there's no issues whatsoever. Only if I do a lot of line art, I get some like heat on the top roof of my hand, but doing those removes it completely. All right. So if you guys have any suggestions on emojis, we got two, I think, to do. You can let me know on Discord or on the stream. I think we are on a good track of the octopus woman. Cool streams, yeah. Who knew? Who knew? Let's raid someone. I need to go and design faces. That's like what I gotta do today. Photorealistic faces is on the menu. Oh, Joe is on. What's Joe doing? Oh no. Is Joe looking to raid someone? No, he's not. Right. Let's raid John. Joe. Shit, Joe. Yeah, friendship. Yeah, general strengthening of the body is always good, especially if you're stationary a lot. So have a really strong core, really strong. I'm not talking Arnold strong. I'm talking about density. I'm talking about compacting muscles in so that they're well tuned. They last longer than big muscles. Just compact your muscles by what's it called? When you by exhaustion, right? I'm gonna raid so much monsters, aka Joe. So have a great day. See you guys tomorrow morning. I don't think I will stream the Octopus Woman on the warm up anymore. I will do that on lunch streams and evenings, but we'll do a new character tomorrow. So come at the beginning of the stream, join in, and I'll randomly pick a topic that you suggest, and we'll do another character. Anyways, have a good one. I'll do the outro, and as per usual, after the outro, I take us to the raid. So good night. Have a great day. Thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for the subs. You guys are the best. Toodles.